Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And this video we're going to touch on a little bit of social growth. In the previous video we touched on personal growth. We're just going to dabble on it a little bit because we're going to go deeper into it at a later time. But being that we're just getting started and we're just getting started with the channel, we're just gonna touch on it a little bit so you get an idea of what it's going to really kind of consist of and what social growth is about. So social growth is primarily about, we recently dived into personal growth. The difference between social growth and personal growth is that personal growth is kind of diving into what stage you're going to go into in terms of your appearance, how you want to be perceived, going to the next stage of maturity and whatnot, and that kind of thing. When it comes to social growth, we're actually trying to touch on how you interact with people, who you interact with, understanding the social, for lack of a better word, the social games people play around us, and how to navigate this world, how to navigate your surrounding. And that becomes a very big deal too, because a lot of us have very little social growth. We get locked into our ways. We get locked into, once again, social patterns or social just the way we interact with people from a young age, from a teenage age, that we get settled in our ways. And a lot of times, if you're that guy who was maybe like shy, you stay shy. If you're the guy who might be too outgoing, you might remain too outgoing. But it goes deeper than that, as we'll touch on later on. But your social growth and your social dynamic actually goes to a deeper level in terms of, well, knowing, not just being whether you're the type of person who's like more reserved or you're the more outgoing type, but also goes into how you interact with people, the words you say, the words you'll tolerate being told, knowing how to say, okay, this doesn't feel comfortable, this person who I'm around, the way they interact with me, it doesn't feel comfortable, I don't like it, but I'm not expressing that I don't like it because I feel this pressure, this social pressure, that maybe the world's put on you, that your surroundings put on you, that makes you say, well, I'm not allowed to tell them I don't feel comfortable. While meanwhile, they may have the kind of personality that tells you all the time, I feel uncomfortable with something you said, I don't like that. And it feels one-sided. We're going to kind of speak on trying to break that down to all its components. And then in addition, how you get around that. And once again, similar to what I said with personal growth, there's going to be ways on to make that change easier, make it simple, because on this channel we're not about just telling you things that people are going to throw out there. You got to change and be a better person, you got to do this, you got to be that, and they're just like not telling you how it's done, the easy way it's done, not getting around the pressures, the social anxieties of how to do these things. And a lot of times people just say be that better person, but a lot of people who are saying that are motivational speakers that they already are the overconfident, overspoken. They know how to say everything the correct way. They know how to be the correct this and that. They know how to be 100% the person that society needs them to be to navigate all types of waters. That's great. But if you're coming from a place of, I'm trying to get better, I'm down at the bottom, I want to be this person who is, better in all these areas and avenues of my life that I want to learn to navigate so I can have a better life, you're not coming from a place of being an expert, So with that being said, we're going to teach you the ways to grow from your social perspective that's comfortable for you, where you don't feel stressed doing it. And that is our goal here. So we want to make sure that, and we have goals, we have ways of implementing these goals to where you feel that, okay, I can do this. For one example, like I said, I'll get deeper into it later on, but is about separating yourself sometimes in the areas that you're at. If you grew up in one town and you're going to make this change to be a different person. You're going to make this change to say, okay, I'm not going to let people talk to me a certain way. If I don't feel comfortable, I'm not going to let them talk to me a certain way. But also, I'm going to exude this level of confidence when I'm around people too. Well, how do you do that? Sometimes you take yourself out of the environment that you grew up in. You take yourself out of the environment where everyone knows you, because everyone instinctively is going to try to hold you into a certain placement. And we're going to get into that at another time too, about how your social surroundings that you grow up in, they try to place you into a spot. There's a social hierarchy similar to you watching like a pack of wolves. One guy is the alpha, one person is like in between. You got people at the bottom of the totem pole, and when you grow up in a certain area and that social hierarchy gets established, the people around you try to keep you in that place because they know that it benefits them to be in that certain place. If we had to give it like a scale of 1 to 10 and you're at number 3, the guy who's at number 10 says it benefits me to keep you at number 3. The guy who's number 7 says, you know what, I don't have as much responsibility in this social dynamic of my friends and peers and whatever as number 10, but guess what, I'm not at the bottom like number 3, and so I want to keep my position, and so on and so forth. The way you get around that is getting away from that social dynamic, going to a new social dynamic, a new neighboring town that no one knows you, and you start fresh. And then all the things that we're going to dive into on a future video to bettering yourself, you're going to implement all those things, but in a new town, in a neighboring town, in a new state, a neighboring place, some place that you can go to where no one's going to know you, so they're not going to question who you are and the person you're trying to be. But that's just to give you a taste of what we're going to dive into at a later time. Thank you for watching the show, watching the video, and any questions you can comment at the bottom. And hopefully you guys stick around. We have a lot more interesting conversation to come up in future videos. All right, you guys, take care.